It's hat era.
It is
It's-
hat era. Why are we both wearing hats?
It's because for me it's a bad hair day.
Nah, it's also a bad hair day. My hair
Okay,
looks like
okay.
fucking trash. I need to I need to get a haircut.
Are you gonna get a haircut?
I think I might get a haircut.
How much do your haircuts cost?
$25. Nothing. Fucking nothing. Nothing.
No.
Since we had that. What episode was that where we had the makeup? It was Michaela's.
Michaela's episode. $25. Yeah, I have been needing not like a haircut like with the length, but I wanted to like shape it up. But
Yeah.
I know shape it up in the movie. Wait, no, shake it up.
The show.
Shake it up. Come on, Zendaya. But I wanted to shape it up. But it's gonna cost me $80. So instead, I
Jesus.
bought hair scissors on Amazon and asked Jacob to watch YouTube videos. And Jacob had watched 5. Is that right, Jacob?
I've watched 5
5 videos.
videos,
And
yeah.
he's gonna
Wow.
do it.
Wow.
So
so
that's
fucking
where
real.
we're at financially. And this is a good time now to drop the fact that Jacob, you may hear him on a microphone
You may hear him on a
because
microphone.
he's our guest today.
Ooh,
That's
guys,
so
Jacob
Usually
as
I'm not
a
in front of the
guest
camera.
today.
crazy. This is literally crazy
Yeah,
that
this
you
is insane.
are a guest. Like,
know,
I
it
wonder
is.
if people feel starstruck watching.
Maybe. I didn't expect to be this nervous, but I'm kind of nervous.
Yeah,
to
you've
be
been a
on
little
camera.
quiet over there. I was like, oh, he's
Yeah.
mad at me.
Uh,
Like,
I'm like,
Is
oh,
he
people are
mad at
perceiving
me?
it.
I'm like, damn. Like,
That's so funny. I'm very happy that finally have you on the show. I feel like you've been on camera though, right? You've been on camera on the show.
I mean, kind of
Maybe.
hesitantly.
Yeah, hesitantly. Wow.
Yeah.
But this is like the first time it's like, oh, we're finally making it happen.
It is exciting.
yeah. I mean, Jacob's got stuff to say, you
Jacob's
know?
got stuff to say.
Like, Jacob's been working for many, many years.
Yeah.
You know? Different jobs. Me and Jacob have worked together at certain
We
points.
have.
Where have y'all worked?
We worked at this vegan restaurant that no longer exists anymore called Rutabagas. Shout out to Rutabagas for
Yeah.
those
Shout
back
out
home who
Rutabagas.
know.
It closed down.
It did close down because opening up a vegan restaurant in Nebraska
Doesn't make sense.
doesn't make that much sense.
But at least you tried Rutabagas.
At least Rutabagas tried. And I mean, Jacob did go to school for sound mixing,
Mhm.
and
Mm.
you know, so it's kind of the same industry as me, and
Yep.
so we've been on a couple sets together, and
Okay.
you know, now Jacob has been kind of actually been getting a lot more freelance work recently, but
Yeah.
up until recently, you'd been DoorDashing for a really long time, and Isaiah also used to DoorDash before
Before I
you started
doing
influencing.
TikTok.
So that's kind of crazy.
Yeah,
Little two
it is.
DoorDashers here.
Listen, the DoorDash family, it runs deep. You know what I'm saying? We bleed red, literally. You know what I'm
Bleed red.
saying? We
So
bleed
it's
red.
like fuck Uber Eats or like what?
Nah, because more it's really actually like everybody who does like DoorDash sometimes they do both. Do you do both?
I used to exclusively do Uber Eats. There's no loyalty.
There's no loyalty.
Wow,
I
I
have
forgot
no
about that. Yeah,
loyalty.
you did do Uber Eats in Nebraska, right?
In Nebraska,
Yeah.
I did Uber Eats because it paid more.
Mm.
But here, DoorDash pays more.
There's no loyalty. There's no loyalty for sure because most people do both.
No, they
Yeah.
don't.
Some people
yeah.
And like
I've-
Postmates, like
I've spoken to DoorDashers who are like, I do them at the same time.
Yeah.
I do them at the same time.
There are people who drive passengers for Uber, drive passengers for Lyft, and do DoorDash and Uber Eats and Postmates. They just have like all of the apps running on like different phones.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I've seen like
different
people
phones.
Yeah.
walking around picking up food orders with like 2 or 3 different phones in their hands.
Wow. And
Which
what do
is
you
insane.
how do you feel about I guess both of you, I mean, you are a little bit more removed from it, but like you are kind of like still in the thick of it. Like, how do you feel about that? I mean, just DoorDashing, I feel like, you know, that seems kind of like a normal way to kind of make money, like a side hustle. But like
Yeah.
when you've got all these phones, you're doing all that, like it's kind of become like this really like you need to invest capital into it because you need multiple phones. Like you need to like, you know, how do you feel about that?
I think some people feel like it's necessary
Mm.
Mhm.
especially if they're making all of their money off of
Mm-hmm.
doing these kind of like gig work
Yeah.
app things. Because it really can be scary if you log onto the app to like try to make some money
Mm-hmm.
and you sit there for like a couple hours and don't get anything.
Does
Yeah.
that happen a lot?
because not so much recently,
Mhm.
but it definitely has. There are days and times like that,
Mhm.
and it's hard when that happens to
Mhm.
not just like when you're sitting there to not think, "Oh shit, have I fucked up? Do I need to get a real job? Do I need, to figure something else out financially?"
Yeah.
Yeah, like when you say real job, like what's kind of how do you what do you feel like differentiates DoorDash from being like a real job? Is it just because it's like self-run or like
It's because you're not employed by the company.
you're not?
You're
Mhm.
technically an independent
You're an independent
Oh,
contractor,
contractor.
and
wow.
Yep.
so you're
You're an
not paid
independent contractor.
hourly. You're paid by delivery.
Yep.
And so if you log on and there's no deliveries, you don't make money.
Yep.
You make
Wait, but
$0.
don't they is there still policies in place where they like pay you like the minimum wage if you don't
No.
meet it or
So there are states where
That's
there
not
is a
true.
law that they have to pay you or compensate you up to minimum wage while you're working, but that's only while you're on active deliveries. So they take the time that you accept a delivery to the time you drop it off, add those all together for the week, and if you made minimum wage, then they don't pay you any extra, but if you made below minimum wage for those times that you were delivering, then they compensate you to bring you up to minimum
What the
wage.
hell kind of
okay.
states are those? What states are those?
California.
California does that?
hmm Because there was a law passed that like for
Okay.
Uber drivers and like basically gig workers, um
Wow.
where you have to make they
This
have to pay you
liberal
minimum
ass
wage,
place.
but they only have to pay you minimum wage while you're actually bringing food from one place to another.
Yeah,
That's
yeah, so it really doesn't actually do a whole lot because
No.
most times with an order you are getting like minimum wage with a tip and stuff.
Right.
Or does it really
Right.
come into effect a lot?
On average, I would say I get like maybe like $50 a week in like
Hmm.
compensation. Um
And how many like hours a week are you working on
I would
average?
say like those weeks I've been working like 30 hours,
Okay.
driving for like 30 hours, maybe
Yeah.
like actively delivering for like 20 of those.
Yeah.
Um so it's
wow.
like it's people are trying to make a step in the right direction, but it's still hard. But I think people still find the allure of gig work because they do it in addition to something else.
Mhm.
I do it in addition to freelancing
Mhm.
and my contract like entertainment industry work,
Sure.
just to fill those gaps in my budget. Um, Whereas like some people do it full time, and I think it wasn't really meant to be like that, but more and more people are relying on it.
Yeah, because the job market is so tough. It's like hard to get a job with an employer. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah,
Like,
it
yeah.
really is
Yeah.
tough. It really is
And
tough.
so many people are like door dashing now. Like I don't think they're accepting new
They're not. They're not
drivers
accepting new
anymore.
drivers.
Like,
Really?
Nope.
yeah.
Yep. You
You
have to
can't just
sign
be
up
like, I
for it
want to
and you
drive for
can't.
DoorDash.
Yep. They won't send you the stuff.
There's like a wait
No.
list or what?
Yeah. Yeah.
There's
Wow.
And I
essentially a
know it's
wait
like that
list.
with like Amazon delivery drivers too, because does like gig work delivery driving.
Wow.
Um,
Yeah,
During the
they have
holiday
like that
season.
Amazon Flex. They have
Yeah.
Amazon Flex.
I
Yeah,
I
which is
tried to
like
sign up for that like a year ago, and they're
yeah,
like, yeah, we're not accepting drivers right now.
that's crazy. That's so
Wow.
insane.
I got put on their wait list. I'm still on it
That's so
after
crazy
a
that
year.
you get minimum wage. Um, that's so wild because there were plenty of times when I worked DoorDash where I used to have to drive to Columbia because I lived in Hartsville, South Carolina, which is about an hour from like a big city. I live with my friend Lindsay who is visiting today. Shout out Lindsay.
Oh, shout out Lindsay.
But I lived an hour away from a big city, so I had to go to Columbia to drive. So I would use the gas to go to Columbia, and I knew that a half a tank of gas would get me to Columbia and back. Um, and I would go there. I would sit in the Chipotle parking lot, and on occasion, I would not get an order. So I would then have spent $30 going there and back, and I would get
Yeah.
nothing. I
Yeah.
didn't even get like minimal. I didn't even get minimum
Damn.
wage for that. I just sat there for 2 hours and then started like rethinking my life.
Yeah. That's how it was in Nebraska too. Like
Yeah.
you really don't know if there's going to be orders or not.
You never
Here,
know.
like in LA, there's always
In
orders.
LA, it's different.
Yeah.
Yeah, in
There's
LA,
you
there's
can
always
count on
orders.
there at least getting like an order an hour
Yeah.
minimum.
Yeah.
Um, and that's like during like slow times too. There's just
Mhm.
always so many people ordering, and now that they've like cut off like applications, it's like,
Yeah,
but
you're not
but
fighting
yeah,
for like a with a bunch of
without
different
like a
DoorDashers.
major metropolitan area,
It's not going to be
it's
bringing
not.
in.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I did Shipped during like the height of the pandemic
hmm
because I didn't have any other way to make money because yeah, like the restaurant, restaurants weren't open and whatever. And I was making a ton there because it was also like the start of the pandemic. Everyone was like, "How do we get groceries?" I was like, "I guess I'll go on the front lines," you know.
Wow. Saint.
But yeah,
A
I tried to
hero.
do Shipped here when I like first moved here because I didn't have a job for a couple months, and it was like impossible. Like there's just too many ship shoppers now because everyone got the idea during the pandemic that it was like you could make so much money because you could then, and now like that's not the case. People are like getting their own groceries and like getting their own delivery.
Yeah.
And yeah, even with this minimum wage stuff, like
That really was an issue for a while. DoorDash, Uber Eats, just like so many people started driving and shopping for these like gig platforms because it's like easy to start doing it.
yeah.
Um, and it seems like a simple fix, kind of like slapping a band-aid on your financial like gaps, you know?
Mhm.
And so
Mm.
so many people are doing it, and then there simply weren't enough orders for the
Yeah.
amount of drivers there were. And so
Mhm.
like that's when these programs had to like start, these companies had to start cutting off drivers, which is I
It
have mixed feelings about it,
yeah.
but it is necessary for the existing drivers just so that you end up actually getting orders
Making
and
any
are
Yeah.
money.
really make any money at all.
Yeah.
So
Well, it's also I'm not really understanding DoorDash's like whole like mission because I remember there was a point when you were like a top dasher. So they like reward dashers for like being super active
Mm.
and like then you get access to more orders or something like you get first pick or something like that.
Mhm.
But then like you have to do that every single day. So if like you miss a day or like your ratio goes below a certain thing, then you don't have it. So it's like way harder to get orders. So it's like they want certain people to be like top dashers like doing this as like a full-time job, but then also like you can't be but that there's not really enough orders for like everyone to like I'm not it like feels like a huge contradiction through
yeah,
and through.
it is. Sometimes it's really hard to understand where these companies that rely on gig workers kind of where their priorities lie in terms of like who are they trying to make happy. Obviously
Yeah,
at
I
the
don't
end of the day they're just trying
understand.
to make money, right?
Yeah.
So
Mm.
they want the customers to keep ordering because that's how
Yeah.
they make money. But really,
I just don't
like the
understand what their
customer,
intended business model is,
Is
really.
Top Dasher that you get more orders or is that you get higher paying orders?
you get the higher paying
That's what
orders
I was
sent to
thinking,
you.
right? Because I feel like I was.
So yeah. So basically, I'll kind of like walk through like what happens as like a DoorDasher, like what
Yeah.
that looks like.
Mhm.
So you log on. If you're a top dasher, you can log on at any time and start dashing anytime. If you're not a top dasher, then you have to schedule a time to
Mm.
start and then say, I'm going to dash between these hours, right? And then once
Wow.
those hours come, you
Mm.
can click log on.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then it'll show you a map and it'll show you like little dots on the map where like the hot spots are.
Mhm.
And you can drive to those. And supposedly that's where like a lot of orders in that like 15-minute period are coming from.
Mm.
Hmm.
So you have supposedly a higher chance of getting an order from there. And then once an order does come, it'll like show up, it'll do like the ding ding thing,
Mhm.
and it'll show you this is where the restaurant is, this is how many miles you'll have to drive total, and this is like when you have the time you have to pick it up by and the time you have to deliver it by. And then you can choose to accept that or decline it. If you decline it, then your acceptance rate goes down
Mhm.
and you have to maintain a 75% acceptance rate to be a top dasher. So
Okay.
their incentive with basically the top dasher program is to kind
Get you
of
to pick.
decentivize people from declining a bunch of the low paying
Yeah.
orders
Exactly.
Mm.
because then, you know,
Who's
orders that people aren't tipping on, and so they're smaller orders, and so it's like you
If you're
get
not
an
tipping, I don't
order.
give a fuck. You're not getting your damn
This is the
food.
sad. Well,
Right,
that's like I used to never accept $3 orders because that
right.
meant a $3 order meant nobody's tipping on that because
Mhm.
you're
Yeah,
getting a base of $3 each time unless it's like a very small distance.
Hmm.
yeah,
So it was like if I see a $3 one, that means I'm declining that. You know what I'm saying?
right.
So my acceptance rate was 30% by the time that
Hmm.
I, but it was
Yeah.
like
Boundary setting K.
yeah, I'm like I'm not
It
taking. You're
really
gonna pay me
is.
that shit.
Sometimes, like an order comes up and you can kind of do some mental math on,
Mhm.
Yeah.
if I get an order that's like pays $5, but it's only a mile and, it has
Yeah.
to be the deliver by time is within the next like 10 minutes.
Mhm.
I'll be like, "Oh, so this will be super quick. Fine, I'll do that."
Hmm.
But if it's like 5 miles and it's like the delivered by time is in like 30 minutes and it's $5, it's like at some point you just have to say, "Hell no, I'm not doing that.
Right.
That
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
not worth $5."
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
there's going to be something else that could pop
And it's
up.
disrespectful that you asked me too. That's
Right.
another thing. It's
Mhm.
like, wow, who do you think I am? You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Who do you think I am?
Right. But then
Dasher.
you're
I
kind
I
say
was
of
I'm taking this
pissed.
shit
I was
personally.
pissed. I was pissed. I was like,
Holy.
bro, you're not gonna do
I
like you're not
know.
gonna pay. I'm delivering all of your Red
I
Lobster, and you
know.
can't give me $1.
Yeah,
Right.
no, what is the how often are well, I kind of already know this answer because we're roommates and we talk, but like
Yeah.
how
Hmm.
often are people tipping on these DoorDash orders that you're doing?
So I would say it changes based on just like the time of year, the area of town you're in. But I would say on average, anywhere between like 50 and 75% of the orders I take have a tip attached to them.
Mhm.
Um, which I don't I don't know. So basically when you order from DoorDash, as I'm sure most people have,
Yeah.
you like check out
Mhm.
and then it gives you like options for a tip.
Mhm.
It'll say like to tip the driver like 5, 10, 15, 20, like whatever, and
Yeah.
it'll have those. And then in order to leave no tip at all, you have to click custom and then
Hmm.
type in 000 enter.
Right,
Hmm.
like you're going
And they
to
show you a little
work.
message that says this tip is going to a driver who really needs it. And then
Yeah.
they show a picture of a driver like getting on a bike and shit. So they make it sad. So
They
some of you
do.
bitches are heartless.
Yeah, that's
It's
what that means.
to leave
Heartless. To leave $0 on
$0
DoorDash. Just like
tip.
don't order fucking
Yeah.
DoorDash then. Don't
I,
order DoorDash.
even like $1 tip, I like
It
appreciate.
changes.
Yeah.
It
I'm like,
changes
that's
things.
great. It's literally just like showing that you're like appreciative of the service I'm providing.
It's
Yeah.
also like incredibly necessary for delivery driving. Okay,
Yeah.
if it's also incredibly necessary for serving in restaurants as well because that is a
Mhm.
portion of their like paycheck.
Right.
But it's like for like a delivery driver, it's at least for DoorDash and the way that it works is the way that that number shows up is like I can see whether or not you tip. A $3 or $2
Yeah.
thing means that you did not tip, and that's an order that
Right.
does not make sense for me to accept. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's like,
And not
who are we
because I'm
trying to
petty,
fool?
but
And not
because
I'm
like I
petty, it
literally
doesn't
need
make
to make
sense.
money. I think a lot of
Right.
You're asking me to go
consumers
so long.
lump like delivery drivers in the same category as servers, but like they're really not the same. Like I was a server for a few years and like that was the I think still even with my like more adult job right now, like that was still the most money that I was ever making
Mm.
because it's like you in America at least like you have to tip.
Yeah.
And if you don't tip, like you are absolute huge douchebag. Like
Yeah.
and
Like
so
absolute human
so people
garbage.
literally like always tip.
Yeah.
But like for delivery drivers, like I feel and so the general consensus among the American population is that like, oh yeah, like service workers like make a lot of money, like servers. So it's like, yeah. But like delivery drivers like don't. It's I know it's like
Yeah.
the service industry and it's food, but like you can't just like not tip because XYZ you think like, oh, they're making so much less money
Mm.
than like the server at the restaurant. And like if you can't afford $1 or $2 extra on your DoorDash,
Then don't
you
get it.
can't you're
You can't.
simply too broke to be ordering
You
DoorDash.
can't afford
And like
DoorDash.
fuck
Then
you, broke ass, like cook
you
at home.
Well,
cannot
here's
afford
the
that.
other
Like
thing
Afford
that I
DoorDash.
think that people who don't tip on DoorDash and Uber Eats don't realize is that since we can kind of tell and we're not going to accept those lower paying orders,
Yeah.
and like every time a driver hits decline order, it gets passed to the next
Mhm.
closest
Mhm.
driver
Yep.
who could be further away. And if they decline it, it's another driver who's further away.
Yeah.
You're
So
not gonna
the
get your food for a
So
long
if you're
time.
wondering why your orders take a long time and you're not tipping, that is why.
Yeah.
it's because
like,
you're not tipping.
yeah, it's not because there are no dashers out, especially if you live in a large city, because there are
Yeah.
at all times of night. There are at all points in time.
Oh,
But it's
3,
like,
4 a.m. There's people out there.
yeah,
Yeah,
there's people
you just
out
have
there.
to put a good enough tip
you have
if
to
you
put
want
money
your
in there.
food.
And
Like,
that's like, yeah, on the contrary, if you put a good tip, if you want your food fast, put a good tip. Because I'm seeing that like high paying order, I'm hitting accept right away, and I am
Immediately.
booking it to the
Yeah.
fucking restaurant.
Yeah.
Especially because as soon as you get, because like the thing is like when I was door dashing, like I had like an internal clock essentially. It's like when once I like press accept, it's like if I press accept on this order and it's like the best orders for me were like $8. The craziest order I ever got was 16, but the best order for me was
Mhm.
like an $8 order, and it was like if it goes like $8 for 5 miles, and in South Carolina 5 miles would mean like 15, maybe 15 minutes or whatever. Probably a little less than that, actually, now that I think about it. It would actually be, especially time, especially at 5 minutes. Yeah, it's like 5, 7 minutes. So like if I take that and I had like an $8 order and it was a 5 mile thing, that means that I'm getting like give or take like $1.5 per mile.
Mhm.
And I'm like, so if I speed a little bit in a couple of these intersections, it's like
Right.
that's knocking
Yeah.
that down like so much. Like I'm getting paid so much more per mile.
Mhm.
If I am able to like go a
Yeah.
little bit faster. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's all
I
about
guarantee
tips.
you, leave a good tip on your DoorDash order, you're gonna get that stuff fast as shit.
Yeah,
Like,
they're gonna be breaking the law for you.
yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And
You
we'd
know
be
what I
doing
mean?
that. And we'd be
Mhm.
doing that, you know?
I feel like there's so few orders that come in where it's like an actual good tipper.
Yeah.
So it's like if you are one of those, like they will notice. and
You're
they
literally
will,
like making my day.
yeah. So
Yeah.
we'll make yours a little bit better.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
yeah.
I did get stopped on a DoorDash one time where I was going 70 and a 50.
Oh shit.
Now that was kind of crazy. That was wild of me.
I-
That was
How much
wild
were
of
they
me.
tipping you to be
They
going?
weren't tipping me enough, but it was like it was a $7.
It was enough.
It was a
to
$7
risk it.
order. Yeah,
It was enough
I
to
was
risk it
I was
all.
like, yeah, we need to go. Like we need to jet. And then this
Yeah.
cop was like, no, we don't. And I was like, you're right, sir. I was like, you're right. Okay, that's fair.
I've only
That's
been held
fair.
up a couple times in orders where it's like taken me longer, and that's
Mhm.
the first one was when the cops thought I mistook me for somebody who had stolen a tip jar,
Whoa.
and so they like
Oh.
stopped me in the parking lot.
Okay,
on
weird
Sunset?
profiling.
Yeah,
Was that
this
the
is
Sunset tip jar dealer?
yep.
Wow.
He's always naked. How'd they think that you were him?
I think this must have been someone
Naked
different, but
Sunset tip
It was
jar
like
dealer. Yeah,
nighttime.
legendary.
You know, on Sunset, that strip where it has like Chipotle,
Yes.
Starbucks,
Yeah.
the burger
Yeah,
place.
yeah,
Yeah.
Mohawk.
Yeah, and so I was pulling out of there, like getting ready to deliver this order from
Oh,
Cinnaholic,
I've
the
never heard
cinnamon
the
roll
story.
place. Yeah, you have. Yeah.
Well, I didn't know that they thought you were the Sunset tip jars dealer.
That's
Yeah,
so
and
funny.
because this lady, like, these cops were like sitting there, like ordering burgers from
Habit.
Habit Burger.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then this lady like runs out of this like restaurant being like, the guy ran that way, like stealing tips or
Wait,
whatever.
pointing at you? Oh,
She just,
just
like,
in your general direction.
Pointed in a direction.
Okay.
And I think I saw him walk past me, but I didn't know at that point that he had stolen tips or anything.
Right. You were.
And so
yeah.
I was like pulling out of the parking lot, mind my business. I'm like, I'm gonna go deliver this order. And then like the cops pull in front of me.
Yeah.
And then they like turn on their lights. And our cars are like head to head, like facing each other. They're
Yeah.
like blocking me from getting out of the parking lot.
Mm-hmm.
And then one of them like gets out of the car. I'm like, oh, they must have thought I like, I don't know.
Parked
Like,
weird. Like
yeah, I like
something
parked illegally. I don't know.
Yeah.
And so I like roll down my window and I like start getting my registration out. And he's
Ooh.
like, slowly get out of your car and like turn around. I was like, what the fuck is going on?
Give me a kiss. Like
All right, now bend over.
Unbuckle, like literally what's
No,
going
but yeah,
on?
and then I had like fanny pack thing on that I
Whoa.
always have. And he's like, what's in your bag? What do you have?
Bag.
And he's like, do you have any weapons on you? I'm like, finally, after like 5 minutes, the lady walks over and goes, that's not him. That's not him.
Oh my
Thank
god.
you.
5 minutes too
Whoa, it's
late.
like,
but-
where the hell were you at? Like 5 minutes ago. Hold on, did the tip driver, did the tip person get into a car?
No, he just like ran
He's
off through
home.
like this
Like, he doesn't have a
cafe.
Also, I
car.
thought he was naked. Is this two different people?
This
Maybe he
guy was
wasn't.
not naked.
Okay, so there's two
Maybe
sunset tip
he.
jar stealers.
Maybe because
One
that
of them
was
is
like
naked.
in the evening, right? That happened. Maybe he puts on
Yeah.
clothes at night.
Maybe he puts on clothes at night.
What?
I don't know. I'm just like also imagining because I know that the Habit has like these like floor to ceiling windows, and I'm just like picturing like this lady like eating her burger with her back turned to the window. You're getting like literally arrested outside the window. She's like, "Oh, this shit's good. Like I did something good today." Like that's just some little guy with a fanny pack.
Oh man, that's so fucked
But
up.
yeah, anyway, LAPD is wild.
Did they
like,
apologize?
no, they're just like, okay, you can go.
Oh.
They're crazy.
Okay, I'm not even gonna say sorry.
They're
And then they didn't even like
crazy.
try looking for the guy. Anyway, I was like, yeah, I saw someone walk over that way, and they're like, okay, thank you. And then I think they went inside to like finish their burgers. Like,
Okay, all right. Come on, oink,
Your
oink,
tax
oink.
dollars at work. Your
Yep.
tax
Yeah.
dollars at
My
fucking
tax
work.
dollars paid for Jacob to be really scared
To be
for a bit.
really scared
they
for
were
a bit.
they were like, fuck this, we're on our lunch break. Like,
That's
Yeah,
so
holy shit.
terrible. Oh my god. There must be two Sunset tip jar stealers though, and one of them. is
maybe
naked.
there's
I
a
actually
lot.
think I
Yeah, I
remember.
don't know.
And then I feel like I also remember you coming home that night being like, yeah, and like tips were shit today too. It's like,
they were.
damn,
So
you
it's like,
know,
damn.
you really don't know what your DoorDash driver's going through because also haven't you like gotten parking tickets DoorDashing?
I have.
Yeah,
there was
that's crazy for LA.
There was one, especially in like the Sunset area.
Mhm.
Yeah.
There's just like the restaurants have no parking.
Yeah.
You know,
Or it's like
either-
valet.
It's either valet or you get Ubered there,
Mm-hmm.
Mm,
or you have to park like blocks away in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
mm.
And so a lot of times what I end up having to do, especially on like weekend evenings when it's super busy, is I have to like just stop my car like in one of those like red zones
Mm-hmm.
where there's so many red
So-
zones.
Yeah.
So many
Like
red
you
zones.
can't park there. It's not even where the fire hydrants are because those are yellow painted.
No, they
curbs.
went buck wild with that red paint in this city.
They did. Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna
put-
start getting some paint remover and
They
like.
put
For
red
sure,
zones
for sure. You
everywhere.
just-
And so sometimes I'll just like squeeze my like car next to like a little driveway in a red zone, put my hazards on, run in, run out with the food and like leave. Right.
Yeah.
And 99.9% of the time it's not a problem. But if one of those traffic parking enforcement officers that drive the little Priuses, like the white Priuses,
joke cop cars.
their whole job is
Yeah,
just to give
fucking
you parking
11.
tickets. But if one of them drives by while you're in the restaurant, it's like that's a $90 ticket.
Yeah, no, fuck parking enforcement for real. Fuck parking enforcement for real. They're the ones who towed my car when I did illegally park on
legally
purpose. When I illegally parked, yeah.
What,
in
but
front
like
of that
4 days
fire
after you
hydrant,
got
yeah.
your car.
Yeah, like 4 days after I got my car, and then I parked directly in front of that fire hydrant, and it was fully.
Which is a
justified.
stupid rule. Like,
Really
you're
dumb
telling
rule.
me you can't use a fire hydrant because my car's in front of it.
That's my question. Also, when the fire trucks come, they don't use that fire hydrant. I've never seen it being used. And there's and then they come through. They come through to my apartment. They come through to my apartment. I swear to God, they don't use that fire hydrant.
I don't DoorDash much because I know that I can't afford it. But when I do, it's usually out of like either like a necessity because like it's like late at night, like I can't drive because I'm intoxicated or whatever and like want food, or it's like a place where I know like parking is hard and like getting there is hard and like it's just more of a hassle. Like I would literally pay money to not have to worry about like because there's valet everywhere, you know what we were just talking about. And so it's like I know that. And so I tip more. And it's like, I know y'all know that when you're ordering DoorDash. So it's like, why
Right.
are you being stingy? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like someone else has to do that and they might get a ticket and you'll never know.
Why
You'll
don't
literally
they-
never know.
Why can't the restaurant be like, yo, this red zone is a place for DoorDash drivers? Why don't they just clarify that?
Because they don't care.
I
They
know they don't
literally-
care, but
yeah.
it's like that
Yeah.
feels like a solution that is actually incredibly simple.
Because like who does it affect? It affects
The city.
DoorDashers who are typically the poor population. So it's like literally who
They
cares?
don't- they
You
don't
know?
care,
Like,
yeah, the city also
There's-
probably wouldn't do that. 'cause that
I've
would lose
also
their
run
money.
into places like in like K-Town where it's like super hard to park already.
yeah,
Yeah.
insane.
Where I go to pick up from a restaurant that's like in a strip mall,
Mm-hmm.
and like the parking attendant person, like the security person for the
Yeah.
strip mall or whatever, they like come up to me and they're like, "There's no like DoorDasher parking here."
Yeah, I've been with you, I think, when that's happened. It's like, you're not making that much more than me. Like, why are you
Why are
I'm
acting?
picking up
Like-
from this restaurant.
to
That's
make
insane.
$5.
Like I'm like
Like,
I essentially am like in turn a customer of this restaurant right now.
yeah.
And you're
Yeah.
telling me I can't park here.
I'm
Like,
gonna be here less than a customer. Like, the turnover rate of this spot is like quicker. Like, you should,
right.
you know?
That's so insane. Oh
It's
my
like
Like, what there is a lot
god.
of like anti-delivery driver sentiment I've found in, yeah, like the
yeah.
valets and the security officers and like
Mhm.
I'm not
parking
about that.
enforcement. Because there's like a cup in some I found like more hip places, like in Silver Lake, there'll be like the delivery driver spot.
Mhm.
But like
Very rare.
you're only gonna find that in like gentrified like
Mhm.
Silver Lake.
Yeah.
Mhm. Or like
Literally just Silver
Applebee's,
Lake.
like
Right. Yeah, yeah, like bigger like Olive Garden, Applebee's, yeah, like in their parking lot. But
yeah,
I don't know
no,
what it is. Like we're
it's
all just trying to make a living and this is like a pretty shitty way to do it. So like can you not make my
right.
job
For
harder?
sure.
Question
Yeah.
mark?
Yeah.
For
Like
sure.
I'm not
Even like got me started on parking.
Mhm.
Like apartment buildings. If
Oh
you
my god.
are ordering DoorDash,
Yo, you just awakened. Go ahead.
yeah. If
Go
you are
ahead.
ordering DoorDash and you live in an apartment
Holy
building
fuck.
and
Do
you
it.
ask for it to be delivered to your
Let
door,
First
them
of all,
know.
first of all, fuck you.
Let them know. Let them know.
you need to tip extra for that shit.
Yeah.
Let
Yes.
them know.
Yes.
Because I
Let-
am not only parking, walking up to the building, I am
Going up to the front
punching up your
Yep,
number.
Yep.
Maybe sometimes without you letting me know what the number is.
Yes. Y'all better start putting some motherfucking directions on them
Mhm.
damn notes. On them
Mhm.
special conditions, you put some motherfucking notes on how to get to this damn
Mhm.
apartment. Number of goddamn times I got to a fucking apartment and y'all got numbers that are fucking crazy. It's like apartment 1 and then I pull up and the buildings are like 10,300 through 10,500.
Yeah, it's like different like buildings within an apartment
Yes,
complex.
and I'm
like, they all look
where the hell is
identical.
this place
Mhm.
then? Where the fuck is this place? I'm pulling
And-
through every.
yeah.
I'm getting out, searching every goddamn building. I feel like I'm
Mhm.
fucking Mario or some shit.
Right.
Like going through
That shit
all these
takes
different worlds.
time. You're walking into an apartment building that you do not know the layout of,
Mm-mm.
that you like have to try to actively like get security
Yeah,
codes
yeah, you have to get
into.
in for most.
And
yeah.
I'm sorry, but if you are ordering DoorDash to an apartment and you do not tip and you don't like put clear instructions, I'm leaving that shit at the front door.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, for sure. Oh yeah.
I'm,
And someone's
I
eating
don't
that
care.
shit. Like,
I don't
someone's
care.
eating
that shit,
I'm
yeah.
leaving it by the front door and taking a fucking picture of it.
Yeah.
Like,
like unable to access delivery location.
or if you order and I like dial your code and you don't answer, I'll call maybe twice. I'll be nice. If
Mhm.
you don't answer, that shit's staying by the door. I
Yeah.
got other deliveries to do. I'm not making money just standing here.
Yeah, I'm being
Right.
mad annoying, and I'm also not reading your complaints. Truly, I don't care because they
Oh,
they
yeah, no.
it's like it that's not a thing that you can complain about that you can take away something from like
Yeah.
that, which is a great thing about DoorDash. I will say, I like in terms of like customer complaints and stuff like that. Like there is some stuff that you can get in trouble for, but not that. If it's like, oh well, they left it in a little bit of an inconvenient spot. Nobody give a fuck.
There-
Haven't
Nobody
you
give a
like
fuck.
gotten your account like almost suspended though for something like you didn't do though?
So there is like there's like this thing that I think was going around on social media for
Yeah.
a bit
I remember that.
where they're like life hack. If you order DoorDash and you select the option to hand it directly to me,
and you say it was
and then
like,
you
delivered.
say
Mhm.
they never handed it to you,
Yeah.
then you'll get a refund and like get free DoorDash.
Yep.
Mhm.
That is like a big pain in the ass for the drivers.
Yeah.
Because you get contacted by DoorDash, you have to explain yourself,
Mhm.
basically be like, first of all, I did like 30 deliveries today. You think I remember what was
Yeah.
going like,
Right.
but you have to like give a whole like summary of the
An
event.
appeal, really.
Yeah. And if you get like a couple of those, then basically they can terminate your account and say you can never DoorDash again.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's what happened to me on Shipped. Someone,
Yep.
and that wasn't even, they
Oh.
didn't even say I didn't give it to them. They just left a bad review and said like I was late. And so then Shipped just said, all right, your account's terminated. You can no longer.
Because they can do that
Deliver
because
for
the wait
Shipt.
list is like so long.
And then whoever's
Yeah.
next on the wait list, boop, they're a shopper now.
it's like so dystopian. It's like you want like the best of the best, cream of the crop, like delivery people, but then like you have them like people are just lying to get like free shit
Yeah.
and like literally making people lose
Which
their
like
job.
there's a time and a place for like scamming companies that
Yeah,
would
like
Yes.
fuck
like free
capitalism.
shit.
Yes. But
Absolutely.
But when
don't
it
just do it when you
yeah.
don't know what you're
Yeah, but
doing.
steal.
Like,
See, if you want to
When
go
it fucks
steal
over the
from a
employees,
right.
that's like a line like trying not to
yeah,
cross.
you're
Yeah.
literally fighting against like what you're saying, claiming that you're standing for. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? If
Right.
it's fuck capitalism, then go to your local large grocery chain and steal from that grocery chain.
Sure.
You know
Yeah.
what I'm
Like,
saying? Like that's fine. Oh, like whatever. You know, don't nobody give a damn. And you know they know that shit's gonna
they
happen
know
too.
what's gonna happen. They
That's
like
what
work
loss
it into their
prevention is. Like,
budget.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's what loss prevention is. That's like all of that shit. You know, they don't give a fuck. That's why they don't have no chase policies, all this shit. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? They know people are gonna steal from that. But it's like once you start doing shit that's gonna eventually hurt the employees, it's like, what the fuck are we even doing that for? You
Right.
know?
Right.
What the hell
And
is
I'm
this
sure a
even
lot of
about?
people doing that like wouldn't have done it if they knew that it would affect the dasher. But
Yeah.
he
Right.
was a little like critical thinking, like, come on, like this is
Yeah.
directly attached to somebody's name.
Somebody's
Like,
name,
I feel like it is kind of like the underlying root of a lot of these issues where it's like not tipping delivery drivers or like doing shit like this delivery drivers. It's like there is like a little bit of a like forgetting that these people are people because it is behind a screen, whereas
Yeah.
like in person in a restaurant, like you that is a real person. They're handing you your food, you know,
Right.
you're interacting with them, but like a lot of
Yeah,
this,
look 'em in the
especially if it's
eye.
like leave it at the door, like
Yeah.
you may
You
never
never see
even
'em.
see them out your window, and it's
Looking
like,
them in the eye is a huge thing. Like the
yeah,
fact that you
these
gotta
are
look
real
someone in the eye.
people. Like you
Yeah,
can't just
yeah.
treat them like pawns.
Right.
But it is kind of the curse of like technology and this, you know,
Yeah.
tech. What would you call it? Like digitalization of literally just like every service you could possibly
Yeah.
Right.
imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you I like on a positive note though, I will say the best DoorDash days, on the best DoorDash days, this is my favorite job I've ever had.
Mm.
DoorDash, at least. I
Sure.
don't know. Do you feel that? How do you feel about DoorDash?
I definitely think there are good days because at the end of the day, it is really like a service job. You are
Yeah.
doing a service for somebody. You are helping somebody out. You know,
Hmm.
sometimes it's for people who are like literally unable to go like get stuff
Right.
themselves or make stuff themselves, and
Mhm.
like sometimes that makes me feel like really appreciated. It makes me feel fulfilled. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like what I'm doing is actually like doing something.
Yeah,
Exactly.
You
you're
know what I
part of the
mean?
community.
Because like especially like when it's just like leave at door, I
Hmm.
don't see anybody for hours, and I'm just like, it feels like a video game.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
that's
doesn't
what I was
feel
gonna say.
real.
Yeah, it doesn't feel real to me. I'd be fucking with that though heavy. I fuck with that heavy because
Yeah.
I was in the fucking car listening to I was really into D&D at the time. I was listening to a lot of
Mhm.
like D&D podcasts. I had like fucking like playlists. I had like 5-hour playlists that I was just like
Yeah.
listen to the playlist, and then I would like write in my head to that shit, and it was like I don't have to see anyone, especially after COVID happened. Like the leave at the door option like changed my life. Like that shit, I
Hmm.
was like, whoa, this is unbelievable. I can't
Right.
believe that I can just like drop it at the door and then get in my car and like never have to see people.
Yeah.
But I'm like an incredibly like antisocial person, I think. Like
Yeah.
in my heart, you know what I'm
Yeah.
In
saying?
general, I do prefer to just like leave it at the door unless it's an apartment building.
Unless it's an
Then
apartment building,
like
yeah,
Right.
the
that's when it's like
best
it's
case
fine.
scenario, they come out and meet you at the curb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah,
my
yeah,
gosh.
yeah.
If I don't have to get out of my car, that's a good
Yeah.
delivery. When like they make it easy on you, like that is very much appreciated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that shit
Yeah.
makes me smile.
Yeah. Jacob's smiling in his car.
I'm like, oh, you came to me?
And then you have to
Okay.
sit through LA traffic. So I don't,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
it'd be different in like
Do you just not
Nebraska.
DoorDash from the hours of 4 to 7?
Oh no, I do. It just takes longer.
Ugh.
And I
Somebody's got
am
to.
just like
Ugh.
praying that
How are the orders during that time?
so busy.
It's busy.
It's busy and
Mhm.
it just takes longer because of traffic, but I just like I'm like trying to trust that like minimum pay guarantee is like kicking in.
The
That one of
cat
the
just
cats.
opened the door.
Sorry,
Shout
yeah,
out
the
to
cat.
Franklin. Wow, that was so cute. Oh my god,
Next
that was,
guest on the podcast,
that was
Franklin
so
the cat.
adorable. Oh my
But yeah,
god, that
I
was so
I do think gig work in general, DoorDash, Uber Eats, whatever, it does provide a lot of opportunities to people, which I think is a great concept.
Yeah.
I think there's a long way to go in terms of making it more beneficial to everyone involved. Because right
Right.
now it really only benefits the customer.
Yeah.
And even then, like sometimes the delivery prices and like the
Yeah.
hidden fees and shit are
Yeah.
crazy.
It benefits rich customers.
It
Yeah.
benefits rich people
It'd
who
be great if I
yeah,
was rich, like,
right.
Yeah,
whoo.
But, like,
absolutely.
Yeah.
a lot of times it fucks over the drivers, and it especially fucks over the restaurants
Yeah.
because they every time you order from DoorDash, they have to pay a percentage of your order total,
Mhm.
basically as a service fee to DoorDash for using their platform,
Yeah.
which really it's like, what is DoorDash doing? They wrote the code. They're not doing anything.
Right.
That's computer algorithms, like, doing all the work.
Yep.
But, like, if they have to pay, like, 10% of that order total to DoorDash, like, these restaurants are, like, struggling, and, like, DoorDash, like, gets them orders,
Yeah.
but they're,
Yeah.
like,
So they have to do it.
making razor thin margins on that.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
the vegan restaurant in question that we worked at that shut down got a lot of our online orders through DoorDash, and all
Mm.
of them actually. You could order through our app, but it was like outsourced through DoorDash,
Yeah.
and then you
Right,
could also order on DoorDash, and that place shut down. So,
Wow,
right.
yeah.
so
Also the workers, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
because oftentimes, like, DoorDash is a separate order, like category, I guess technically.
Mhm.
So it's like there's the orders that you're getting in person, and then there are the DoorDash orders. And it's like if there are like not a ton of people working, it's like I'm doing the in-person orders and I'm doing the DoorDash orders. And then DoorDash
Mhm.
drivers like, I mean, like, we don't work for this restaurant. So it's like we pull up to this place and we're like, hey, I'm here for this order for blah, blah, blah. And they're like, it's not ready yet. I was nice to people. I was like, okay, you know what I'm saying? But like at a time, there was a time a couple of times I sat and I waited for about 30 minutes
Mhm.
for an order to come. And it was because I didn't realize until 15 minutes in that I was like, this is taking forever. It would have been cheaper if I had just canceled the I made it would have made me more money if I had just canceled the order.
Yep.
But by then it was like I had already waited so long, and I'm like, I might as well because it may come out sometime soon. And then it's like it just like really like screws you up,
Mhm.
you know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? So yeah, it's DoorDash as a whole it's not a great situation, but it's amazing because it's like food can be delivered to you, any
Yeah,
food
there's
that I
just if
want.
you've never worked behind the scenes, I just don't think you can conceptualize because I've never been a DoorDash driver, but I like did was a server and a host at the restaurant where we used DoorDash, and like
Yeah.
there was always just this like tension between like me and like the DoorDash
Yeah.
delivery people because like we would get the orders but it'd be busy, so like I'd have to tell them that there's a wait, and then like I could tell that they were stressed because like
Yeah.
they need to get, but
They're
then
just
like
sitting
them
there
being
not making
stressed
money.
makes
Yeah.
me stressed, and then they're just sitting there and their bodies are just like taking up space in the restaurant, and it's like there's all this tension. It's actually an extremely stressful
It
situation
is.
for
Yeah.
all parties just so you can get your food delivered to your door. So
Yeah.
like put some respect on it and
Yeah.
like at least tip the delivery driver
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
like the
And
servers aren't getting a tip.
that's a great point too. Is like it's like there is like this tension a lot of times between the people who are working front lines at the restaurant or like front of house at the
Mhm.
restaurants and the drivers, and it's like this back and forth like, oh, I'm kind of getting impatient because I'm not making any money sitting here waiting for this order, but then they're like, I have like 15 DoorDash orders to make, like we're
Right.
behind,
And I
like
have
we're
to serve the
stressed,
tables, like make
and the
drinks.
tables. But really, neither of those two parties are, it's like displacement. You
Right.
know what I mean?
You're
Yeah.
just getting mad at the
It's a
wrong
scapegoat.
people.
That mad at the wrong people.
Right. It's like neither neither party can really do
Is
that
too
much to fix
responsible
the
for
Yeah,
the other
they're not
situation.
at
person's problem.
fault.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
like
they're
Yeah.
not at fault.
the
It's like they're both
system.
struggling. Like
Exactly. It
it's
is the
it's 100%
overarching, system
the
of
system, and it's like
Which is like what you would hope, like, you know, for some like humanity, in that we're able to cut each other a break, but we literally can't cut each other a break because we're under so much stress due to the stress of our jobs not paying
because we're
us
both poor,
enough
obviously,
money.
because we're working at a restaurant or
Yes.
being a delivery driver. Like, there's
Yeah.
nobody who's
yeah,
like financially secure who's doing those things.
Yeah.
Like,
right.
You know?
no,
So
yeah, no one's passionate about it. You
It's
know, like
crazy.
it's a
yeah.
means to literally survive.
And you
So,
can love it. Like, I mean, I really enjoyed it, but literally as
but the
soon as
second you didn't have to,
I didn't have to. I was
mm-hmm,
like,
Right.
well,
mm-hmm,
I'm not doing that
Yeah.
anymore. You
At the end
know?
of the day, it really is a great opportunity for people to
in
make
between jobs
to make money.
Yeah.
For sure. That is what it's great for. Is like I mean, I was not in a position, or at least a position that I felt to like work under an employer, or rather
Right.
as like I just hated working under an
Yeah.
employer, or the idea of like
Hmm.
somebody was scheduling me to
Yeah.
come in. So I was like,
It's not for the faint of heart, but it definitely
yeah,
can like really work for a lot of people
yeah.
well.
mm-hmm.
So
Making your own hours, can't really beat it. You know what I'm saying? You
Right.
can't
It's
really
like microdosing being like self-employed, like an
Yeah.
entrepreneur, you know?
Yes, for sure. I mean, you do
Yeah.
your own
You get life
taxes.
skills, you
Yeah,
know?
you do your
Yeah.
own taxes because you don't get
Mm-hmm.
they don't take the taxes out for you. They
Right.
don't
You
do
have to
shit. You
withhold your
track
own
mileage.
taxes.
Yeah, you track your
Mhm.
own mileage. All of that stuff. Like
Hmm.
you do it. I mean, you're fully an independent contractor. Like DoorDash is really only like a means to an end. It's really just the app. They don't help you with anything else.
Right.
They don't
Yeah.
help you with anything else.
Yeah.
And you know, whether
Yeah.
it is what it is.
It's a flawed system. I'm not sure there really is an easy answer to it.
Mhm.
But I'm glad we could sit down and have this chat
I
and let the people
know.
know just a little bit more about like gig work and like
Yeah.
Yeah.
what those people on
What it looks like a day in the life, sort of, you know?
yeah, hopefully like give some insight
Yeah.
into
Maybe you'll
like
tip a little bit
what's
more.
going on. Maybe
Tip a
you'll
little
tip
bit
a
more,
dollar or
yeah.
so
I'm sure
more.
everyone listening will.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much,
Thanks,
Jacob.
Jacob.
Well,
Such
thanks
a great
for. I'm glad
episode.
I could be in front of the camera.
Yes.
It
Yes,
was a
it
little
was
nerve
exciting to
wracking.
have you.
Probably won't do it again for a while, but
That's
Hey, but
real.
you know, one day we'll have you back on camera again. See
Yep.
that
yeah.
those luscious curls that everyone's been wanting to see.
Yeah. Oh, they're so beautiful.
They're
They're
so
so wavy.
Oh, they're so beautiful.
Okay.
They're so gorgeous. Oh my gosh. They're
All
so
right.
wavy. I love it. All right.
All right.
I'm Isaiah Washington,
And I'm Maria Small.
and we are Breaking Broke.
Yes, we
Thank
are.
you so much for coming here today and listening.
Thank you.
Bye.